From a rusty wine rack to a stunning solar-powered chandelier. With a few simple steps, we turn what most would consider trash into eye-catching outdoor lighting. We'll start by determining what size wine bottles will fit into this rack. Next, we'll start drinking. We need a total of 13 wine bottles to completely fill this rack. I think we'll stick to the clear and blue bottles. These bottles should pair well with our solar-powered fairy lights. Also, not sure if you noticed, but this rack is meant for wine bottles to sit upside down. However, it will work just fine with the bottles upright. The labels of some of these bottles were easy to get off, others not so much. A good start to remove the label is to soak the bottle in some soapy water. That usually does a good job of loosening up the adhesive to then easily peel off the label. After peeling the label off, there will likely be some residue left over. Most of the time, scrubbing with soap can remove this residue. However, depending on what adhesive was used, this method could take some time. Using a solvent like naphtha, paint thinner, acetone, or even WD-40 tends to work a lot faster than just soap and water to remove this residue. I think the rust adds lots of character, so we'll be sure to use a clear coat. You can't buy that patina new. Before we apply the clear, we'll take a wire brush to remove any loose rust. The clear coat should help to preserve its current look and provide protection against further deterioration. To further clean the surface, we simply used a rag to help remove any remaining dirt and debris. For the clear coat, we'll be using a satin enamel. This should hold up relatively well outside. Again, the purpose of the coating is to protect the rack, as it will be outside hanging from a tree. If you want to add a color finish instead of a clear coat, it would be a good idea to use a rusty metal primer prior to adding the finish coat, or to use a rust inhibiting paint like Rust-Oleum. After a couple coats of clear and 13 wine bottles later, we are getting closer. I have to say, it already looks pretty good, but we want to see this chandelier day and night. So we'll be adding some solar-powered fairy lights designed specifically to fit inside wine bottles. After doing a couple bottles, we found that feeding the fairy lights through the rubber stopper first before unraveling the fairy lights seemed to work a little easier. The lights tended to bunch up toward the neck of the bottles. A wooden dowel rod or any other type of skinny cylinder should help push the lights further into the bottle. These rubber stoppers came with the solar lights and should help seal and keep moisture out of the bottles. Though these lights do not come with a remote, each one has a sensor that will trigger them to turn on and off depending on how bright it is outside. Besides drinking all that wine, getting these strands of lights into the bottles was honestly the most time-consuming part of the process. We are not done yet, people. This pecan tree should make a nice home for our chandelier. Before we can let this thing hang, we need to do a few things first. First, a location. I think this spot on the arch of the limb should be good. Since this thing weighs about 30 pounds, we want to make sure to select a nice thick branch that can hold some weight. We'll also want to use hardware that is sturdy enough to do the job. This hardware should be plenty strong. Make sure to use a drill bit that is slightly smaller than the threads of the eyelet or hook. Also, be sure to use a stainless hardware piece for the eyelet that will thread into the tree. Here's a simple trick to help thread any eye or hook. Take any old screwdriver or wrench and put the working end through the eyelet. The longer the screwdriver, the more leverage you will achieve. Lastly, we'll add the quick link and chain and time to let it hang.